Folks, this is Jack Spirko here from the Survival Podcast. Today is the beginning of a whole series of videos on permaculture. I'm going to do a lot of them like this in front of the whiteboard. I know there's a big glare. I'll tell you what that says when I get to it. There's nothing I can do about it today, and I do not want to delay getting this thing started. I have a lot of stuff to put into this video series on permaculture. I want to start out with, though, why I'm going to do this. Why am I going to go through the ethics, the directive, 12 design principles, and actually over 30 design principles, explain swales, and do all this stuff with this permaculture stuff when I'm supposed to be the survivalist guy that can go out in the woods and live off the land? Well, I can do that if I have to. I prefer not to. And I also look at it this way. As someone that's concerned with dealing with disasters and emergencies, which is what survivalism is really all about, being prepared to live that better life if times get tough or even if they don't, I can look at anything in your life that can go wrong, like, let's say, oh, I don't know, maybe if you had to worry about something like having your house burned down. And you might, come to me and say, hey, Jack, I want you to come over to my house, and I want you to tell me if my house catches on fire, well then, what do I do to get out of the house? I'd say, sure, I can help you with that. I'd be happy to help you with that. But what I would really rather do is help you figure out how to keep your house from burning down in the first place. To me, that's what permaculture is all about. So even though I got this stuff written on the board behind me, this is going to be the next video, because this first video is just to get you to understand why I'm doing this in the first place. My belief, and what I've learned about permaculture over 4 years of intensive study and practice, is that it's actually a troubleshooting methodology. It's really not how to grow a tree, or even really how to grow an ecosystem, though that's a little bit more accurate of a description with it. Permaculture is a lot more about solving problems, and solving problems by understanding the way that energies flow. And there are energies, and the earth has incredible energies. Anybody that doubts that only need look at a tsunami or an earthquake or a hurricane or a tornado, and you can see tremendous amounts of energy that the earth has. And when the earth is kind of, acting up, that's when everybody goes, wow, look how powerful it is. And then we miss the subtle energies that are there every day. There's enough solar energy falling on the planet that if we could actually harness it, we could power the nation for a year from a day of solar energy. The same can be said with wind. And it's because we don't know how to do that yet. Now, this isn't about alternative energy. This is just a fundamental reality. That's how much energy is there. Our limitations are quite severe right now in our ability to harness and capture that. But there's a lot that we can do with it. But in our lives, both with nature and with other people, we generally take the approach today of, if something's coming at me, I'm going to resist it and I'm going to fight it. Now, if you went to a Kung Fu master, true Kung Fu master, and you said, I want to learn how to defend myself, he would tell you when your enemy is throwing the most energy at you, it's not the time to return a strike, but to take his energy and channel it against him. Now, why does he tell you that? Because he's like a really cool guy? No, he's telling you that because it works. Because that's the best way to fight energy when it's being directed at you, is to redirect it back at the attacker. And that's kind of a combat mentality, but it's a way to understand a non-combat mentality that is permaculture, which is, if there are energies in a system, or energies in a group of people, or energies in a community, or energies in a business, then those energies are naturally going to do things all by themselves. We could take two approaches. We can try to put up a dam and stop that energy, or we can look at the energy and go, where would I like that energy to go next? What would I like that energy to do for me? How can I do nothing except put something in front of that energy and allow the nature to take its course? That's what permaculture is really all about. And when we start looking at it that way, then we can use it to better plan for disasters. There's permaculture techniques that you can use around your property to help prevent forest fires from burning your property down. Well, that's pretty specific to the disaster preparedness world, is it not? There are things we can do with permaculture that will drought-proof farms. We'll literally make them drought-proof. If we can grow food in the desert of Jordan, which Chef Lawton, one of the permaculture pioneers, has done, then we can pretty much do those things at a much higher level in places that experience drought in the United States, like New Mexico and Texas, because trust me, they get more rainfall than Jordan does, at least most of their areas. So if we prevent famine then that's one less disaster for us to prepare for. If we prevent forest fire, that's one less disaster for us to prepare for. If we can build more sound structures that use less energy, we mitigate the impacts of something like peak oil or just a simple oil embargo. Which, if you don't believe in peak oil, that's fine, but you got to believe that the systems that supply the oil could fail. So if we create more energy efficient systems and we have a partial failure of that system, we can better adapt to it. So that's why I'm doing this series. So I'll be teaching you things about how to put in agricultural systems. I'll be teaching you how to grow food here. I'm going to lead off in the next video with the prime directive and the ethics. If you've heard that all before and you think, I don't need to listen to that one, tune in, because I'm going to give you the ethics, specifically the third ethic, in a way that you've never heard before. And with that, this has been Jack Spirko with the first video in the Permaculture series.